Good morning, everyone.
Happy Saturday.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Storytime Live. Thank you, everyone who watched our special Tuesday night with The Brave Bear Fights Cancer. That was a couple weeks ago. And everybody who tuned in the following night for Bald is Beautiful. Both books by Carola Schmidt. Brave Bear is photography by Mark O'Dwyer, who does the Mawson books. That Crayola event, 3,700 views so far. So that's wonderful, a very important message. And we have a very interesting book to come back to. It's called Imagine That by George Yuhasz. It's really wonderful. The Magic of the Mysterious Lights. I like any time that we can overlap between Saturday Morning Storytime and Into the Outer Realms, our Thursday night show. And next week we'll just get this out of the way now. Hackney the Martian. This is an exciting, weird book that we found, I don't know, in the Dollar Tree or something, right? Mm-hmm. But so tune in next week for that. And then we'll be getting, I think, into some more like holiday kind of stuff. But anyway, here we go. Imagine That, The Magic of the Mystery Lights. This is kind of a long one. George Yuhasz, and I want to be sure to acknowledge the illustrator as well, Egla Bartolini. Nice Italian boy. Okay, here we go. Here you go.
On a night when the sky is full of stars, sometimes there appears light that cannot be explained, even by the smartest astronomers. We know about comets and asteroids, even shooting stars. We know what these are, and they can be explained. But there are flashes of light in the sky for which there is no name or explanation, and to this day they remain a mystery. However, not too long ago, a little girl discovered why she was able to see lights in the sky that no one else could see. And here she is, looking up at the night sky.
Definitely our kind of book.
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn lived with her parents and big brother in a house with a big backyard with lots of trees and plants. Deer, bunnies, foxes, and many birds came to visit, for the yard was a peaceful, safe place. She always played in her yard every day and always had lots of fun. On nights when the sky was filled with brightly shining stars, Evelyn loved to go outside before bedtime. Often she could see the Milky Way and the Big Dipper. She wanted to learn all about the planets, stars, and constellations. Sometimes she saw flashes of light streaking across the night sky. Here she is playing with all her friends in the daytime. There you go.
Thank you. One evening, Evelyn and her daddy were looking at the night sky. "Daddy, what are those flashes of light up there?" she asked. Evelyn pointed to the sky, so thrilled she was jumping up and down. Her daddy shook his head, baffled. "I do not see any flashes of light," he told Evelyn. "Are you sure you see them?" "But Daddy, I see them." "Come inside now, Evelyn. It's time for you to go to bed." Her daddy smiled at his daughter as he held her hand and they went inside. He loved her very much.
Looks like a nice guy.
I love the colors and the illustrations.
Lying awake in her room that night, Evelyn made a promise to herself. She would find out more about the lights because she was a very determined girl. The next evening was beautiful. Stars were everywhere and Evelyn could hardly wait to go outside. She opened the family room door and stepped onto the backyard patio, immediately feeling the coolness of the night air. Evelyn was so eager she didn't feel the cold at all. There were more flashes across the sky than usual, and Evelyn wondered why that was happening.
Suddenly, she heard her name being called. The voice was not coming from inside her house. It was gentle, calm. Evelyn looked all around but could not see anyone. She started to walk to the far end of the yard toward a stand of old spruce trees. The voice seemed to be coming from that direction. "Evelyn, Evelyn." The voice became increasingly louder as she moved closer to the spruce. All at once, a small glow between two of the large trees began to grow until Evelyn could see a young woman emerging from their shadowy branches. She wore a shimmering blue gown and golden hair flowed to her waist in waves and curls. The lady's eyes sparkled as she smiled and one of her hands slowly motioned for Evelyn to come forward. As Evelyn drew closer, the lady realized she was standing in front of a very surprised and nervous little girl.
And without further ado, there she is.
And she's surrounded by light orbs.
Yes, she is. They stared at each other for several seconds before the lady broke silence. Please do not be afraid, Evelyn. I have been wanting to meet you for a long time. Evelyn had a puzzled expression on her face. I'm not afraid. Can my daddy, mommy, and brother see us here? They can see you, but they cannot see me, the lady replied. Evelyn had a confused look on her face as she glanced back toward the house. She could see Daddy and Mommy through the kitchen window doing the dishes. Her brother was probably playing in the family room. Why not, Evelyn almost whispered. Because this light around me is a special light. Only those that I want to see me are able to do so. The flashes of light you have been seeing in the sky were me letting you know something special was about to happen.
Oh, Evelyn thought about this for a moment. Why did you choose me? The lady was expecting this question. So many times I have seen you outside in your yard looking up at the night sky. I know that you gaze at the stars and would like to know more about them and what may be beyond. Evelyn, please come inside. It was late and it was time to get ready for bed. Evelyn called back, Okay, be right there. You must go now. The stars will be out again tomorrow night, and I will look for you here. The lady then disappeared in an instant. Evelyn ran back to her house. Her mommy was concerned. What were you doing out there?
Evelyn paused for a moment before answering. Well, I was talking with my new friend. Well, next time, please tell your new friend not to keep you out past your bedtime. Now go to your room and put your pajamas on. I'll come up soon to tuck you in. Oh, and don't forget to kiss your daddy goodnight. Evelyn fell fast asleep, but her excitement over meeting the beautiful, mysterious lady led her to a deep, dreamy slumber surrounded by swirling, dancing figures in a rainbow mist. Throughout the next day, Evelyn could only think about questions she wanted to ask the lady. What was her name? Where did she live? How old was she? And many more.
Nightfall arrived soon after Evelyn and her family finished their dinner. Evelyn helped her mommy take the dishes to the sink so that they could be rinsed and put in the dishwasher. She then put on a jacket and stepped outside to her backyard. She could hear the sounds of crickets, tree frogs, and all the other night creatures together creating their own special chorus. It made Evelyn very happy and she danced with joy, twirling around slowly at first, then going faster and faster as she looked up at the night sky with its multitude of brightly shining stars. She wanted to gather up all of them in her arms at once and give everyone in the world their own special star. All the dancing had made Evelyn short of breath. As she stopped to rest, she heard a voice calling to her softly. Evelyn ran toward the spruce trees, where she had met the lady last night. She could see a small glow inside the branches begin to grow larger as the form of the lady appeared in the light. And there she is with her family getting ready to go outside.
Probably the lady, but nope, 2 pages of text. Good evening to you, Evelyn. I'm very happy to see you. The lady gave her a hug and kissed the top of her head. I'm going to answer the questions you've been wondering about. But how did you know that? Evelyn was very surprised. The lady then told Evelyn to listen carefully to what she was about to say. I am the Maiden of the Light, and I am not what you call young or old. My age is timeless because I am always as you see me now. I come from a place beyond the stars that's full of happiness, magic, and wonder. It's where you can dream and be whatever you would like to be. That's my favorite place. It is a place where the power of your own thoughts can take you on amazing journeys. This is when I was holding this book.
Evelyn waved her hands excitedly. I want to be a teacher when I grow up, she exclaimed. Yes, Evelyn, you can be a teacher. Evelyn was unsure. I don't know how to do that. Well, first you must be a good student and learn as much as you can at school. Knowledge is a precious gift, and you can use it to help others learn when you are a teacher. Knowledge helps us understand ourselves and the world in which we live. Evelyn twirled around. Yes, I want to learn as much as I can so I can become a teacher. The maiden paused for a moment, looking off to the side and appeared to drift in thought. A few moments later, she looked directly at Evelyn.
Evelyn, I want you to know there's something even more powerful than knowledge. It's called imagination. Imagination is a very special gift that you can use to create anything you want. We can dream of something we have not known or experienced before and make it real. This is why I have on my Albert Einstein t-shirt today. Einstein. He said that imagination was more important than intelligence. When are you going to give me this gift? Evelyn asked. This is a gift you've given yourself. It's inside you, part of your spirit, and everywhere you wish to find it. You can use it to create and experience things all on your own. First, set a goal. Something that you'd like to happen. Go ahead. Think about a goal and close your eyes. Evelyn closed her eyes and thought that becoming a teacher was a good goal. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly there was a huge burst of light around her that seemed to open wider and wider, like a blossoming flower in rapid motion. Evelyn closed her eyes even tighter until there was only darkness with no sound or feeling. What seemed like a long time ended with the lady speaking in a low, measured tone. You are experiencing the silence, Evelyn. It is here where you are free and can call upon your imagination to bring your thoughts, ideas, and dreams into the light of possibility, knowledge, and reality. Now take 6 deep, slow breaths to become totally relaxed. 1, 2, all the way to 6. Next, see your goal as you would like it to be. It's like beginning to draw a picture on a blank sheet of paper until you are happy with the way it looks.
You do that with I bet you do that a lot with your life coaching clients.
I was just
that
going
very
to say
thing.
that. That's
There
exactly
she
what
is
I do.
doing her thing. You know who that reminds me of?
Miss Jolie?
Yes, absolutely. Evelyn was smiling as she created her goal. She could see a classroom full of children at their desks, a blackboard, curious faces. She's getting very excited. That excitement really helps juice the whole.
Absolutely.
Feel your enthusiasm, Evelyn. You must have the desire to achieve your goal. Magic sometimes takes a little time to work, especially if the goal is very important. Be confident in yourself and be patient. Evelyn continued to enjoy experiencing what it is like to be a teacher for a few minutes more before opening her eyes. We have mirror neurons and all kinds of cool things in our brain that when we imagine something and imagine ourselves doing it, our brain doesn't even know we're pretending. You have learned how to make your own magic, declared the maiden. You can also use your imagination to have fun, like making believe you're a bird and flying above the earth. Evelyn put her arms out to her sides and began fluttering her arms up and down, imagining that she was flying. She giggled as she flew in a small circle. I'll just show this classroom picture of her doing this. And this is all about creative drama that I used to do when we had the theater school and the theater company.
I'm a bird, I'm a bird. She was turning and flying so fast that all of a sudden she, fell to the ground exhausted and began to drift off to sleep, but not before seeing a burst of rainbow light track rapidly across the night sky. Evelyn heard the soft voice of the lady telling her that they would see each other again someday and that she was leaving behind a gift as a remembrance of their meeting. When Evelyn awakened, the Maiden of the Light had vanished. She was nowhere to be seen, and there was no sign that her visit had actually taken place. It was morning, and Evelyn looked around her room and wondered if she had been dreaming. Her mommy stood in the doorway. She had a serious look on her face. Evelyn, your daddy had to bring you in from outside last night. He found you lying on the ground fast asleep. You could have caught a bad cold. Please don't do that again. We worry.
I just wanted to show them one thing real quick that I saw. I love when illustrators do this. So the book they're reading in class is this very book. I like that crossover. That's cool.
That.
I'm a bird. She was turning and flying so fast that all of a sudden she fell to the ground exhausted and began to drift off to sleep, but not before seeing a burst of rainbow light tracking rapidly across the night sky. Evelyn heard the soft voice of the lady telling her that they would see each other again someday and that she was leaving behind a gift as a remembrance of their meeting. When Evelyn awakened, the Maiden of the Light had vanished.
Oh, wait, that's the page I just read.
You read this page?
Yeah, I already read that page.
Oh, well, no. Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Mommy. I'm so sorry, Mommy, Evelyn said in a low voice as she deliberately pulled a blanket over her head to hide her embarrassment. Come down for your breakfast, Evelyn. I have some delicious pancakes and fruit waiting for you. Evelyn heard her door shut and knew that she was alone. Throwing the blanket off her head, she sprang onto the floor in a flash. It was then that she sensed something was different about her room. As she looked around, she observed a small object on the table beside her bed. I think what I reread must have been very important.
I think so. So sorry. Allergies this morning. It was a pink crystal like nothing she had ever seen before. Its shape was not quite round or square, and it had a rough, uneven feel between her fingers. The crystal was beautiful, and it held Evelyn's attention for several minutes. She would come to learn later that it was a healing crystal. She realized that this was the gift of remembrance mentioned by the lady. Their meeting was not a dream. The spell of the crystal was suddenly broken by the sound of someone coming upstairs. It was Mommy calling for her to come to breakfast immediately. "Coming!" Evelyn shouted. She placed the crystal inside a jewelry box on her great-great-grandmother Tessa's whatnot cabinet and went downstairs to join her family for breakfast. Just trying to get it. There we go.
It was not until after dinner that she was able to wander outside into her backyard to be alone with her thoughts. Dusk was turning to darkness and fireflies were beginning to appear. Evelyn felt happy and grateful at the same time. Her lovely friend would come to visit again someday. Evelyn knew that. In the meantime, she would treasure the memory of their meeting and would continue to practice the magic taught to her by the Maiden of the Light. Evelyn smiled as she closed her eyes and joined a nearby group of fireflies, becoming one of them, blessing the world with their joyful flickers of light. Imagine that. And that is a great lead-in just to say, hello, good morning, Jessica. She said she loved it. What a cute book. We have to get this one. That's the idea. Go out and support these authors. I'm doing a book review as part of a big book tour for this book, and I should tell you too that in January George is going to be on our show Into the Outer Realms to talk about the celestial and the mystical and the imaginational and all of that. So like she says right here in the book, blessing the world with their joyful flickers of light. Keep your candles lit in these strange, increasingly uncertain, in some ways kind of frightening times, and we're speaking to a lot of people who are feeling that. So keep the vibration high, keep the candle lit, and keep your imaginations going. I am here to tell you my career is just going amazing, and it's all been about just imagining and working. So everyone, take care. I know you got to get some new shoes on our car this morning and do some stuff. I'm going to be working on the rewrites for that rock opera I got hired for. So it's going to be a good day. Happy Saturday to everyone. Remember Hackney the Martian next week. This is one of those kooky books like Stick Boy. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.